Chima returned home and cruelly told Vivian to leave, claiming that she was incapable of giving him the son he desired. Heartbroken, devastated and lost, Vivian gathered her daughters and returned to her mother's house. Once upon a time, in a small village in the eastern part of Nigeria, there lived a young man named Chima. Chima was deeply in love with his girlfriend, Vivian. Vivian was the most beautiful girl in the village, and many men admire her, but she only had her eyes for Chima. Chima worked as an electrician in his workshop, while Vivian sold fruits and vegetables in the bustling community market. Despite their different jobs, they were deeply devoted to each other, and their love was the talk of the whole community. Everyone admired the way they looked at each other and how they cared for one another. One sunny day, Chima gathered all his courage and confessed to Vivian about his longing desire to marry her. Vivian's face lit up with joy as she realized she would soon be Chima's wife. But she asked him if he had enough money to provide all that would be required for their marriage, according to their customs and traditions. Chima assured her that he had been saving up for a while. Vivian, being the supportive partner that she is, she contributed her own savings to help Chima. They were both excited about their future together and expressed their love for each other every day. Weeks went by and Chima visited Vivian's parents to officially ask for her hand in marriage. After some time, their traditional marriage ceremony was held, and they became husband and wife amidst cheers and celebration from family and friends. After the ceremony, Vivian moved in with Chima, and they started their life together as a married couple. That night, they became intimate for the first time, and Vivian's innocence made her even more precious to Chima. As weeks passed, Vivian began to feel different. She started to feel sick in the morning and tired all the time. Chima noticed the changes in her and asked her what was wrong. With a smile on her face, Vivian whispered, "I think I'm pregnant, Chima." Chima's eyes widened with disbelief and filled with joy at the same time. He hugged Vivian tightly, feeling overwhelmed with the happiness. "We are going to be parents," he exclaimed, his heart bustling with love for his wife and unborn child. As Vivian's pregnancy progressed, Chima became even more protective and caring towards her. He would wake up early in the morning to make her breakfast, help her with the chores, and ensure she didn't overexert herself at the market. Vivian appreciated Chima's gestures, but insisted on continuing her work at the market to support their growing family financially. Chima understood her and agreed, although he secretly wished she could stay home where he could properly take care of her. As Vivian's baby bump grew more, Chima excitedly began to buy baby items in preparation for their child's arrival. However, Vivian noticed that he only bought baby boy's item, which puzzled her. When she mentioned buying unisex item, Chima confidently expressed his belief that they were having a boy because of his family's history of having many male children. Despite her slight worry, Vivian remained calm and focused on the joy of becoming a parent with Chima by her side. As her due date approached, Chima took on even more responsibilities, ensuring Vivian didn't lift a finger around the house. The day finally arrived for Vivian to give birth, and Chima waited anxiously outside the delivery room. His heart raced with anticipation as he imagined holding his son for the first time. However, when a nurse emerged from the labor room, Chima's excitement turned into a disappointment as she informed him that Vivian had given birth to a bouncy baby girl. Chima's heart sank as the nurses delivered the news of a baby girl to him. Disappointment clouded his face, and his excitement turned into sadness. He barely spoke to Vivian as he processed the news. Inside the room, Vivian held her newborn daughter in her arms, feeling a surge of love and joy. "She's so beautiful," Vivian whispered, tears of happiness streaming down her cheeks. But when Chima entered the room, he didn't even look at the baby girl in Vivian's arm. Instead, he muttered something about needing some air and walked out of the room without a word. Vivian's heart ached as she watched him leave. She had never seen Chima behave like that before. She knew she had been hoping for a son, but she never imagined he would react like this to their daughter. As days passed, Chima's attitude towards the baby girl didn't improve. He barely acknowledged her presence and spent most of his time away from home, drowning his disappointment in his work and alcohol. Vivian tried her best to care for her daughter on her own, but she couldn't shake off the feeling of sadness and loneliness that had consumed her. She longed for the loving husband she once knew, but it seemed like she was slipping further and further away from him with each passing day. One evening, as Vivian was rocking her daughter to sleep, Chima stumbled into the house, reeking of alcohol. His eyes were bloodshot, and his movements were unsteady. Vivian's heart sank as she realized he has been drinking again. "Chima, please," she pleaded, her voice trembling with emotions. "Our daughter needs her father. Please come back to us. I need you too." Chima just coughed and staggered towards the bedroom. barely acknowledging Vivian's presence. Tears welled up in her eyes as she watched him disappear into the darkness of their room, leaving her alone with their daughter. 2 years flew by, and Vivian found herself pregnant again. This time, she prayed fervently for a baby boy, hoping to fulfill Chima's desire for a son. Despite her hopes, she worked tirelessly, taking care of her daughter, her unborn child, and the household chores while heavily pregnant. Despite her efforts, Chima showed little concern for her well-being. Vivian, however, remained hopeful that Chima would eventually come around and show her the love she had longed for. As Vivian's due date approached, she continued to juggle her responsibilities, even taking her daughter with her to the market on weekends. Chima, oblivious to her struggles, remained distant and detached. When Vivian went into labor, Chima didn't follow her to the hospital. Instead, it was her friend who stood by her side during the delivery. Vivian gave birth to a set of twin girls, and though the nurses and doctor congratulated her, she couldn't shake off the sadness of facing Chima with the news. Upon returning home, Vivian was met with silence from Chima. He had already heard about the twin girls and walked away without saying a word. Vivian's heart sank as she realized the disappointment once again. As days turned into weeks, Chima's behavior took a darker turn. He began to cheat on Vivian, bringing his mistress home even when Vivian was present. Despite Vivian's tears and pleas, Chima remained indifferent to her pain, causing her heart to ache with every betrayal. Chima's actions shook the community as he proudly flaunted his relationship with Acha, showering her with gifts and attention. When Acha announced her pregnancy, Chima's joy knew no bounds. He immediately invited her to move in with him, but she refused as long as Vivian and her daughters were still there. Without hesitation, Chima returned home and cruelly told Vivian to leave, claiming that she was incapable of giving him the son he desired. Heartbroken, devastated and lost, Vivian gathered her daughters and returned to her mother's house, where they found solace amidst their pain. Meanwhile, Chima's mistress turned wife gave birth to a healthy baby boy, fulfilling Chima's long-held desire for a son. He boasted to his friends, convinced that Vivian was to blame for their previous misfortunes and not himself. Chima lavished his new family with gifts, providing for Acha and their son, while forbidding her from working. Years passed. Chima lived a life of comfort and satisfaction, while Vivian and her daughters worked so hard to make ends meet. Despite their struggles, Vivian's daughter, Ada, Osinachi, and Wankego made her proud with their academics. They supported her in the market, contributing to the family's income and easing the burden on Vivian. As years went by, Vivian's dedication to her daughter's education paid off. Ada, her first daughter, graduated as a medical doctor, bringing immense pride and joy to her mother. Meanwhile, Osinachi pursued her studies in law, while Nwankego focused on her studies in engineering. Both of them determined to achieve their dreams with their mother's support. On the day of Ada's graduation, Vivian beamed with pride as she watched her daughter receive her degree. Ada's twin sisters, Osinachi and Nwankego, shared in the celebration, cheering on their sister's accomplishments. With Ada's support, Vivian and her daughters were able to live a comfortable life, finally beginning to enjoy the fruits of their hard work. However, Chima's son, Obinna, grew up to become a troublemaker, causing chaos and turmoil in the community. One day, Obinna was involved in a serious fight that left him badly injured and in need of urgent medical attention. Chima rushed him to the hospital, frantic with worry for his son's life. The doctors informed him of the need of an immediate blood transfusion. Without hesitation, Chima volunteered to donate his blood, eager to save his son's life. However, to his shock and dismay, the doctor revealed that their blood types didn't match. Confused and distraught, Chima insisted that Obinna was his biological son. But the doctors suggested a DNA test to confirm. Reluctantly, Chima agreed, hoping to put on an end to the uncertainty surrounding his son's paternity. Days later, the results of the DNA test were revealed, confirming Chima's worst fears. Obinna was not his biological son. Filled with a mixture of anger and heartbreak, Chima confronted Acha, who tearfully confessed to deceiving him by pinning another man's child on him. Devastated by the betrayal, Chima sent Acha and Obinna away, unable to bear the weight of their deception any longer. Alone and consumed by grief, Chima turned to alcohol to numb the pain. His once happy life shattered by the truth he couldn't escape. Feeling the weight of his mistakes, Chima sought out for Vivian and her daughters, hoping for a chance to make amends. When they saw him, Vivian's eyes filled with tears, remembering the pain he had caused them all those years ago. Her daughters too expressed their hurt and disappointment at his past actions. Despite their pain, the girls couldn't ignore the love they still felt for Chima, especially the first daughter, Ada. They pleaded with their mother to forgive him, believing in the power of second chances. Reluctantly, Vivian agreed because of her daughters, but she made it clear that they could no longer go back to the way things were before. Instead of allowing Chima back into their lives completely, they offered him a job as a gatekeeper of their house because he was jobless. Chima accepted the opportunity, grateful for the chance to prove himself worthy of their forgiveness. Determined to make amends, Chima threw himself into his new role, working diligently to earn the trust and respect of Vivian and her daughters. Each day, he greeted them with warm smile and ensured the safety and security of their home. As time passed, Chima's dedication and sincerity began to soften the hearts of Vivian's daughters. They witnessed his genuine remorse and effort to change, and slowly they started to forgive him for his past mistakes. With time, Chima's efforts paid off, and he became a part of Vivian's and her daughter's life once again. Though they never forgot the pain he caused them, but they found solace in forgiveness and extended the opportunity for a fresh start. Since that day, Chima respected his daughters even more. He believed that they were blessings in disguise which he never saw. This story teaches us that boys and girls are both precious gifts from God. In the story, Chima desired his son, but was blessed with daughters instead. Through Vivian and her daughter's journey, we learn that the gender of a child does not determine their worth or value. Each child, whether a boy or a girl, is a special blessing from above, and they should be cherished and loved unconditionally. Thanks for watching this captivating story on African Stories and Folktales. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories. Thank you.